imagine that if you're working in an organization and they have tons of different people who is actually working in different departments, and you have allowed them, all of them, to create resources within Azure. Now, obviously, your management certainly have questions on the billing because they care about the money spent on the specific resources, or of course, let's say if they purchase a subscription in Azure, they would like to know the reason that why this billing has been generated and what are the reasons behind it. Now, just imagine that you have people one in security, another one is database, and another one in, let's say, web application. Now, these guys or these teams start creating resources within Azure to test, develop, and finally implement as a part of their production environment. Now, in these all scenarios, obviously, they need to first create some test environment. Then they need to start developing. Obviously, they use that test into UAT. And finally, they start building for the production server. So, could be a possibility that they actually copy the same kind of information or same kind of resource into 3 different kind of tiers or whatever the planning they have. So that's okay. Obviously, they have the permission to create those resources, but when the billing comes, everybody is going to ask you that how this billing has been generated, and you need to give the answers. Hello guys, my name is HarshArena, and in this particular video, we will talk more about Azure subscription. We will try to understand that how you can manage and leverage resources within Azure subscription to find out or to filter out that what resources are using what kind of information. Does it actually require to be stay on Azure? Because obviously Azure will charge whatever the resources you are using from them. So it's very important that you should know which resources currently are in use and which resources you can simply delete. So before to understand about these all scenarios and possibilities, let's talk about Azure subscription, right? So whenever I talk about subscription, the very first things comes into my mind, what is subscription? I mean, why we are talking about subscriptions here? So as Microsoft is offering Azure for as a cloud platform, so they actually build different kind of subscription for different kind of users. Let's say if you are a partner, you have a different kind of subscription. We call it somehow, let's say, a partner subscription or CESP as an example. Some company are individual, they are small business, medium companies, and they are actually following, let's say, pay as you go, because they would like to follow how much currently they are using resources in Microsoft. They need to choose, or they would like to choose this resource to balance their infrastructure, which is absolutely okay. And for the third organization, which is actually a high level or where like tons of and thousands of people are working, so they simply would like to purchase enterprise subscription, which has additional offering like support and something else additionally. So these different kind of subscription are actually used to gather billing information about all the resources you have deployed in Azure. That's a whole soul of advantages of using Azure subscription. So when we talk about Azure subscription, for us actually, so when we go simply in Azure portal and go to the subscription blade, you can find out the total amount you have spent or your resources currently consuming, and based on that you are trying to identify, because we are the administrator, so we should have all the answers for the management. Hey, let's say, sir, this billing is generated for $1,000, and this $1,000 are actually currently consumed in these 3 or 4 or 5 different areas. And when you give the list of them, so your management say, all right, now we understood that how this much money is been spending on Azure platform, which is clear. And they allow to spend money or whatever, they approve the money for further utilization of Azure. Otherwise, they certainly ask question, why these resources still exist in case we are not using it, because this is directly actually consuming, let's say, $50 of us, and I don't understand why we are spending $50 extra on Azure if it is currently this resource is not in use, right? So these kind of questions are coming from the management, and as I said, we need to give the answers to them. So to understand about this more, we have Azure subscriptions permission as well. Because when we create Microsoft Azure subscription, obviously we have users, right? Just like I said, we have security team, we have web application team, we have database team, and we need to allow people to create their resources. So how you can give the permission to do that, or you can assign permission to other members to maintain and check that how much money currently we have spent, because we can make a let's say hard limit for our organization, and we can speak to these leaders of these different teams that, hey, currently our management has agreed to spend $1,500 a month. So please make sure each of your department must spend maximum $500. So what you have done, you have given the Azure subscription permission to these tech leads or whatever, team leads, to analyze and to review their utilization. So similarly, how you can take all the advantages, and not only that, if you have a company who actually wants to build a branch within the same subscription, so how you can purchase a new subscription within the same tenant, I will show you how to do it. So we have tons of different utilization advantages of using Azure Subscription Blade. So let's not waste our time and try to gather and learn on a practical manner how you can leverage those resources and how you can take all the advantages of using Azure Subscription Blades. So guys, let's begin. As we understood now that what is the advantage of using Azure subscription, the another few things we need to keep in our mind before to move forward on the practical level. The very first thing, that how you can leverage and what are the advantages of using Azure subscription. Yes, the very first thing which we already discussed and described, billing. But there's another way, that if you would like to manage your subscriptions within the same parent subscription, then it is really a great advantage of using Azure Subscription Blade. Now, what is the meaning of that? Let's talk about it a little bit more. So as an example, in this particular scenario, let's talk about one thing, that I have a company called HarshArena. And currently I am already building and creating my resources in Azure. And I already know that how much actually money I'm spending on Microsoft Azure. And it is currently in control and I don't have any problem. Now just imagine that I also have decided, or my organization has decided, to introduce a new organization or new company called HarshArena Photography. Now think about that situation. So obviously there's one thing, I can simply start creating resources within the same subscription, and the billing will be created in the same subscription, and absolutely fine. There's no problem because I have the same company, and of course I would like to spend money obviously for my company itself. Yeah, indeed guys, this would be good for a small medium organization, but how about the enterprise level? They have a different products, they have different stakeholders, they have different teams. So obviously for their different product, they have always a requirement to balance and maintain different billings so that they can justify to their stakeholders that, hey, we have actually implemented that many resources in this subscription, which is managed by this team, and they already spent this much money, and we are currently managing these resources in this way in terms of billing. I mean, you understand my point, right? So basically what we are trying to achieve there is to make sure we are following the right way and separating our billing system based on different product or from a branch company or the organization. Now, the very first thing, how you can manage these all multiple subscriptions all together under one. And second thing, how you can purchase a new subscription or simply add a new subscription to existing subscription which is currently running. Let me make this a little bit bold so that it will be helpful for you to see we have covered this. That's great. So let's try to understand first, and then we will talk about the management. So guys, let's try to learn more about in a practical manner. Alright guys, so finally we are on Azure portal. I'm pretty sure you'll think, hey Harsh, you already speak a lot in an introduction part, and of course gives us a lots of theoretical concept, but not now. Alright guys, let's come back and try to learn more about Microsoft Azure, especially on the subscriptions. Now, before to jump into the subscription part, I would like to talk about a little bit on the dashboard. Although I do have a plan to create a separate video for the dashboard, but I think it's gonna be a little bit interested to play around on the dashboard so that you can start customizing your dashboard. Based on that, you can understand how the things you can manage, and this could be really much helpful on managing your subscriptions as well. Now, to start with the dashboard, what is the dashboard? Dashboard is a customized place where you can see all of your resources which you would like to see, not the default one provided by Azure. These resources can be managed or maintained by you only, and you can create multiple different dashboards. For example, dashboard for subscription, dashboard for VM, dashboard for security rules. I mean, you can create n numbers of dashboards here. So as an example, in this dashboard, you can find out resources, resource group, or CPU information of the VM running, and you can balance all these informations all together. Now, if you need to balance, or let's say if you would like to rearrange these resources from here and there, what you can do, you simply go to edit. And of course, it will allow you to move your resources the way you want. So for example, I would like to move in this way. And yeah, I like this one now, more cleaner, much more in a good way, or even I would like to close you a little bit. All good. So I'm happy with that. Once it is done, just click on Done Customizing, and your dashboard is ready accordingly. Now, another question, how you can add this dashboard or whatever the information you can see. One option, once you click on Edit, again, you can see on the left hand side, you can add whatever the default options or the tiles are available for us. But if you like to add any additional information like VM information, so what you can do, you can simply go to the VM as an example. You can add the whole VM to the dashboard. As you can see, it shows pin blade on to the dashboard. So I click on this as an example. And on the right hand side, you can choose a dashboard on which dashboard you would like to add and click pin. That's it. So here's your VM. You can simply access this VM straight from the dashboard. You don't need to find out or search for it, right? Similarly, I have added already these all information in the dashboard. So you just go to the dashboard and you can find right on the top here. Okay. So the purpose of this one is telling you because whenever I just open my, Microsoft Azure, I don't want that you may be confused. Hey, what is this now? I mean, this is something new to you. So just want to tell you that this dashboard I have created by my own. Now, another thing, how you can access your dashboard from Microsoft default web page. So for that, just go to Microsoft Azure, and I think you are very much familiar with this page where we can see all default information. If you need to access your dashboard, just click on here under the dashboard in Navigate. And as soon as you click, you can find the same dashboard. All right. So I think your confusion is clear right now. Okay. So now to move forward, the purpose of this practice in subscription is to add a new subscription within the existing one so that we can maintain billing of these two different companies within the same place. So I'm not creating a new email ID, or I am not actually just sign out from the existing subscription. I am simply adding a new subscription within the same one so that I can be easily able to manage different billings for different stakeholders product, or let's say different companies I have actually opened for my organization. So to do that and to achieve, first we need to go to subscription. So as soon as you type subs, it automatically recognizes very first one as a subscriptions. So click on the subscription, and here you can find I have currently only one subscription added, and you can see right here, right? So basically in this default page, you can find out subscription name, my subscription ID. This subscription ID is going to be very much helpful in terms of PowerShell commands, or if you are trying to troubleshoot anything, because if you have multiple subscription, you need to choose the right subscription so that we can start troubleshooting on that specific subscription if the resource exists in the same one. All right, I mean the same subscription ID. All right, so another one is account admin. Right now, I'm not going to talk about it because it's a part of the next part, which is a management of the subscription. Another one is like currently my cost of my subscription is very low, just 0.55, because I'm following the same practices. I have mentioned that I create the resources, I practice them, I try them, and simply delete. So it actually saved me a lot of cost. And another information you can find in this page is my subscription is currently active, which is pretty simple and straight. Another important thing is, as you can see under the subscription, you have a very, very important information, default directory. So guys, basically this is very important because when you heard the names and the words tenants, Active Directory tenants, one is default directory, another one is a different tenant, something like that. Don't be confused now. We are going to talk about that later, but not today at least. So just remember, whatever the subscription we are going to add or configure within the same default directory or before in the same tenant. So to understand more about the subscription, the very first thing, which is pretty easy and straightforward, once you open the subscription, you can find this page. In this page, it can show you very much information, obviously lots of options. We will talk about them one by one, and to make you understand how you can balance and how you can maintain these all options or manage these all options one by one in upcoming videos. But at the moment, the very first thing you need to keep in your mind, as I would like to repeat again, subscription ID, very important. Second is tenant, because as I said, when you contacted the Microsoft billing team, sometimes they ask you if you have multiple subscription, which tenant or which directory currently you are looking into. Based on that subscription and tenant and directory, they will find out the right cost for you and to share more details according to that. So here is the default directory I have actually created during the creation of my account. So that's okay. And currently offer of my subscription is MSDN. All right. So another information, I think it's more than enough, just the subscription name in case you need to give the name. Now, another important things. So here you can see you have a cost details here. You can also pin this cost detail in your, dashboard. So as soon as you click on this, your directly goes to the dashboard, and also on the dashboard, you can find the same information. All right. So if I click on this, it just goes to the subscription and to the whatever, the cost you have spent during this time, and you can find all those information. But to better understand, let me just go back to the subscription because that would be much more easier for you. So I click here. As soon as I click, it will just break down my subscription based on different resources and the cost. Of course, the cost you can find out more relevant and more informative way. Just scroll down and you can find out the service name. Here is the location based. And of course, another one is the resource group name. So all this information is right here. This is just for your reference. Don't worry, we will look into this one by one and we will talk about that in detail. At the moment, just for your reference again, if you click on this filter area, you can find out last 12 invoices. If I click on this last 12 invoices, based on that, it will help us to identify all different invoices from last 12 months, whatever the time frame I have chosen. Wow, currently the usage is not for there. So what I can do is last 30 days, or let's say this month, or let's start with this month. As soon as I click on this filtered, based on my this month, it will show me and filtered out all those information which I'm actually looking for. So yeah, pretty straightforward and pretty easy, because as you can see on here, now you have a little bit more information based on resources, based on locations and the service names. So as I said, the Microsoft Azure will cost you only whatever you have used during the time, not after that. All right. So that's the very first thing I would like to mention and request. Now, let's talk about a little bit more that in case you have to purchase a subscription, in case you need to find out that how you can add more subscription, how you can do that. So for that, let's go back to subscription right here. And here you can have option called add, right? So now I am trying to create a new subscription for my another company, which is HarshArena Photography. So I click add. As soon as I click add, it automatically try to first analyze. Yeah, obviously it may ask you the login to your account. And if you can log in with your account, yeah, I'm okay with that. So it will take you to the page where multiple different kind of subscriptions offered by Microsoft. So what does it mean? Actually, Microsoft will trying to tell you that these many subscriptions are currently eligible based on the subscription you are running. If you are having a free account, you can find a couple of extra subscriptions information. Because I'm running Visual Studio or Visual Studio Enterprise, I may have a little bit different one, because I can show you that currently the free trial actually not eligible for me, because as you can see, I am not eligible for this because I'm already running for that. Either I can go for pay as you go, either I go for Azure for Students. Now in your company, if you like to move forward and try to just choose any of the subscription based on sponsorship, based on a big company enterprise level, just click on all other offers. So here you can find all different others kind of subscriptions available. For some you are gonna be eligible and for some not. If you are not sure whether you are eligible or not, what you can do, you can simply click on, like, let's say, check eligibility. I simply need to click on this or all of them one by one, and it will tell you whether your subscription is eligible for that. If yes, it will show you this, select offer. If not, then you can find like this, I mean grayed out and don't find any information. Let me show you again any other one. Let's say I go to sponsorship. Yeah, of course, Visual Studio Enterprise subscription, because I already owned it and currently I don't have any eligibility to use this one. But it's pretty easy. Let's say right now I would like to move forward with pay as you go subscription as an example. So I simply click on select offer. So as I click on select offer in pay as you go, because my planning is to add this subscription within my existing one, because I am trying to use the same company, I mean the same organization, but a different subscription for a different billings. So I think this experience you already saw when you are trying to create a new account or a free account. I remember that I have shared this information with you. So definitely what you can do, simply you can just add your credit card information like I add, and simply click next, and more information, add technical support. On this page you can find only one additional thing, that whether you would like to take Microsoft support or you just need to maintain everything by your own, because if you take support help from Microsoft, obviously it will charge you more, it will cost you more. So as we are doing practices, and if you need to choose a credit card, it's absolutely fine. Just choose no, I will take it off everything by my own. I don't need support from Microsoft at the moment. So obviously once you go ahead and simply agree, just perform the agreement, and it will automatically create a new account for you. And once it is logged in, later on you can find, if I go back to the subscription, you can find a new subscription will be added right here. But let me just try to complete something for you and show you what kind of information you can see right here. Alright guys, so for our example, actually I have purchased one of other subscription, which is a part of Visual Studio Enterprise for me at least. So actually how you can enable that specific subscription within right in this page, because right now you can see I have only one subscription, and if I simply refresh the page, you can still see only one subscription. So after you purchase, how you can see the other subscription within this same page. So for that, what you can do, you simply click here on this page, which is filtered out. And in this filtered one, you can see I have already chosen only one subscription, which is the first one, right? So if I select the second one and simply click here and close this because I choose both. And right now you can see here, you have another subscription is also being added automatically, right? So previously we had ended with 625, but right now I also have 432 and it cost me approximate $11 already. And you can find all those information if I have any resource, if I created any resource, or anything is running within this subscription. All right, so I think you gather enough information that how you can add a new subscription within the same running subscription. The only advantage for this is that you can balance different billings of these two different kind of subscription. One is this one, which start with E5F, which has 0.55 USD. The billing is different, the resources are different. And if you select here, the billing is different, the resources are completely different, right? So it will be very much easy for you to handle and maintain. All right, so let's go back and try to talk about more on the management on the subscription. So now we know that how we can create a new subscription within the same existing one, which means that we are using a default directory. And actually, as I mentioned, it helps us to maintain the billing of a different product which we are trying to launch, or the stakeholders are different for that. Yeah, the overall purpose for that practice is to understand that how we can leverage billing information within the subscription to balance and to analyze those resources. But don't worry, I will show you that how these resources can be analyzed in the same Azure subscription in the next video. But for right now, we need to know a little bit more about Azure Subscription Management, where we have discussed about how RBAC, which is called Role-Based Access Control, actually works. Because it's very, very important whenever you are working in an organization, although you are the service administrator, which is a kind of a classic administrator, which is handling everything inside the subscription. But when you actually jump into the real world, obviously you have a different departments, you have a different people who have a different responsibilities. So you need to assign certain permissions to access the resources within Azure. So how you can do that and what are the steps you need to take to achieve your goal. So to understand that, let's jump on to another slide. And in this one, we will talk about two things. One, understanding subscriptions permissions. And second thing is assigning administrative roles. Although both are kind of correlated, but yeah, let's talk about first administrative roles. So guys, basically in our Azure, the person who has every single access or whatever the resources are running inside the Azure subscriptions have all kind of permissions and access, that must have a service, or you can say the service administrator or server administrator. Yeah, actually both are fine, but service administrator is the right classic example to describe who has absolutely every single permission inside Azure subscription. Now, in today's world, because previously in the old Azure subscriptions, we have only one kind of additional role we can assign, that was co-administrator, which has a similar permission like the service administrator, but a little bit less. But now when people asking for a very granular kind of request to assign the permissions and maintain the subscriptions, so Microsoft has come up with a plan to introduce RBAC, which is, again, as I said, the meaning is role-based access control. So role-based access control actually help us to assign the right kind of permission to the right kind of people, so that the only permission they have is to maintain a specific resource, and that's how they are managing everything. So don't worry, I will talk about that in details in a practical manner, but just want to express that assigning administrative role means if someone asks you to give a very high level permission, so you need to add a co-administrator. But if somebody is looking for a very specific subscriptions level permission, this is we called RBAC, Let me try to write down. Yeah, I'm writing down with the mouse, so it may be slow. Yeah, RBAC. So basically, these permissions you can assign on the subscription level. So the person should and may have a specific permission on a specific resource. So to understand a little bit more, let's try to talk about based on these two different diagrams, because in these pictures, I'm thinking it would be really much easy for you to understand everything. So guys, in this picture, let's start with the first one. You have Azure Active Directory, and second one is a subscription, or consider as a tenant or just a subscription. Yeah, that's all for now. So basically, the Azure AD is responsible for to create the users within Azure Active Directory, and these users we can create only when we would like to assign permissions to access the resources within the subscription. All right, so this can be done only by the service administrator role people. So the people who has service administrator permissions or roles, only these can start assigning or creating user accounts within Azure AD, and then later they can use RBAC permission to assign a specific permission to these users based on subscriptions. To understand a little bit more, right now I'm trying to just explain that currently, take it in this way. We have a default directory, which we just talked about, that all these by default, all subscriptions comes into the default directory. So we have only one tenant and everything is running fine. Now in one tenant, just now you observed, I have created kind of two subscriptions, right? So one which was already running for HarshArena, or let's say I choose pay as you go for Harsh photography or HarshArena photography. It's all like just for understanding. So point here to mention is, if you have a single directory and you have a user account permission, which is right now I'm talking about a service administrator. So this service administrator can access both of these subscription, which is created under the same default directory without any hassle, without any problem. The good thing is, with this service administrator account, he can assign permission based on RBAC or using RBAC to a normal user based on like owner permission, contributor permission, read permission, similar like that. So basically they can start maintaining the resources within Azure. But imagine if we create a new tenant and this new subscriptions comes into this new tenant. So this even service administrator do not have access by default to this particular subscription. Why? Because this new subscription has been created into a new like AD directory. Just imagine that, or another tenant. So that is the reason it would be really much helpful and kind of sustainable if you are using a same default directory but creating multiple different subscriptions so that you can efficiently use RBAC control. I hope you get the point, because it's really much important, and we really need to understand, because I'm pretty sure once you go to your job role, you can definitely find single default directory has multiple different kind of subscriptions added into the same directory, and that's how many different administrator or a limited amount of administrator are actually managing your resources or just trying to assign permission. And the good thing is, if the owner permission, or let's say owner RBAC permissions assigned to this a normal user, actually this user can also allow another subsequent users to create different resources at a certain level. To make you a little bit more understand, as you can see on the right hand side, I have this server administrator, right? Or we can call it a service administrator. Both are absolutely fine. So this one has absolutely every single permission in a subscription. Means you just named it. He can do anything. He can create multiple different tenants. He can assign roles. He can take care of subscriptions, resources, any kind of resources in the whole subscription. This service administrator can do that. Now, this administrator actually decided to assign an owner role to a new user. Now, he assigned an owner role based on the subscription, or let's say he has only permission to this specific newly created subscription. So what does it mean? This guy cannot access this subscription, right? Only this guy can only have access of this subscription, and that's the beauty of RBAC. We can simplify the permission roles based on their job roles or whatever the category we have assigned based on different teams and organization based. Now, right now, this subscription owner can also delegate or assign further users to start creating resource groups and resources, or like VM or network interface cards or like load balancers, all sort of kind of thing. So these users can just use these permissions, whatever been assigned by owner can handle that things. But this user cannot access as an owner of the subscription. So he has a very limited permissions on based on the limited permission being assigned to a resource group or limited resources. But as I said, the service administrator can do anything within the lineup or whatever things is been running on Azure subscriptions. So yeah, guys, the purpose of this to share that, because right now I'm going to assign a permission to a specific user who do not have access of anything. And you can find a little bit change after that once I assign the permission to him. Okay, so let's begin with the practical and try to understand the concept of how RBAC works on the subscription level. And of course, you can use the same way to assign permissions to other resources as well anytime you want. You just need to make sure you have a service administrator permissions on a subscription level by default. All right, guys, so finally we are back on the Azure portal. And right now, let's try to understand that how RBAC role has been assigned on the subscription based and how you can find the differences between these two things. So if you would like to do a practical and do the practices, I think this would be the right example, and you must follow the same way so that you can do the practice and will analyze and observe the behaviors. And of course, you also play around with the different kind of RBAC roles based on the subscriptions or individual resource group levels. So to start with this, first of all, you already know that I have two subscriptions. So to understand that, let's go to the subscription level first. So right now we have two subscriptions started with AF74 and another one is E5FT. So our previously used or always used subscription was E5FT. So definitely I would like to consider the 8F74 in today's example. So to achieve this ultimate goal, which we are trying to find out for the RBAC role, actually I go to Azure Active Directory at the moment. So if you would like to create a user and if you would like to test whether your RBAC roles applied and been working as we just discussed, so first go to users right here. And once you click on users, simply create a new user. I think our process is pretty simple. I'm not going to walk you through all the steps here because it's pretty easy. So once you create a user, or of course, I do have a plan to talk about this in the future video. But as I said, to create a new user, not a difficult thing. So I have created one user called HarshArena admin as an example, because I do have a kind of feel that I need to assign a permission to this guy to maintain my newly created subscription so that this can maintain everything, all the resources he can create, or he would like to delegate some permissions or at least delegate the roles to others. He can do that for me. So I have created this particular username, and yeah, just for your reference, this is the UPN or consider the email ID. So if you would like to test, make sure use this email ID as a logged in, and of course the password whatever you have set. So this last name is all about the actually the directory which we talk about, the default directory. All right, so just remember that. So before to understand this, let's go to this user. Actually, I logged in this user into the Firefox, and I have already tried here. So just click on the user. Here's a password, sign in. So yeah, I mean, I don't want to sign in all the time. So this is the first screen when you sign in with the user for the first time. And of course, my first preference is to check whether I can access resources, whether I can create resources or not. So basically I click on virtual machine, and as you can see, this user is of course not delegated with any permission on any subscription. So at the moment, he do not have option to create a username. In fact, if I simply try to create a resource group as an example, he do not have that kind of permission. Although even I try to click add, it will say, hey, you need to create a free account because you do not have either permission or do not allowed to access anything within the subscription, right? So that's what we are getting when the user try to log in for the first time. Now, next step. So once we have that, let me first sign out from this user, because if you like to see the changes and reflection, so we need to make sure the user should be signed out from the browser. Now let's go back here. And to achieve our goal, we need to jump again to the subscription. So let's go to the subscription again. And in the subscription, as I said, currently this user do not have permission on any one of the subscription. So start with the very first one, which the newly created one. And definitely I would like to access or give control to this user to maintain all the resources, all sort of resource group within the subscription. So I would like to assign an owner permission. So for that, just click on Visual Studio Enterprise. And after that, go to access control. So guys, this IAM means Identity Access Management. So basically this is the RBAC. Recently means it's already been a couple of years. But yeah, indeed, after listen to you guys or most of the users and organizations, Microsoft has embedded this option right here. Now, to understand more about the concept of differences between service roles or like service administrator and the normal owner. So first thing first, I would like to talk about the classic administrator. So if you click on classic administrator, you can find my username, which is Harsh Jangra, Harsh IT Professional at hotmail.com, already have enough permissions. And because what? I am the service administrator. So if I logged in from my account, I can do anything I want. And to just basically try that, just to show you, if I create a duplicate tab in the Microsoft, not a Microsoft, sorry. Always Microsoft, because I am from Microsoft, right? Okay, simply just go here, and when you create a new VM as an example, so when I click here, what we can find out two things. Now we can choose whatever the subscription we would like to choose to proceed further with the creation of our resource. And that's exactly because I am the classic administrator or the service administrator on this new subscription as well. That's why I'm able to see that. But if you select and if you remove, access will be gone and I'm not able to see anything. So if you need to check what exactly permission or what kind of permission this has, so we can go to check access and try to find out the name of the user, because I'm the Harsh Jangra. So let's try to use a default one. Actually, I can, yeah. All right. So yeah, I'm the this one, Harsh Jangra Professional. When I select this, it will show currently no role has been assigned. These are the RBAC, and I have the classic administrator, and I has full access to all resources in the subscription. And that's how you are trying to verify, if you like to verify and check that if any user has been assigned any kind of permission within the subscription. So this is the right way to check access first and then proceed with the role-based access control. All right. So now our next practice is obviously to assign the right permissions so that we can see changes and we can find the differences. So if you go to the role assignment, so this is the place you can assign role-based access control, because currently you can see there are no one in this subscription and do not have any permission except the classic administrator. So how to assign a permission? Just simply click on add. And obviously you can assign a co-administrator, which is a classic way to assign a service administrator permission. So obviously I don't want to do that. According to the Microsoft new suggestions from the product level as well. So you better should follow add role assignment, which is exactly the name of role-based access control. So click on add role assignment. On the right hand side, the very first thing we need to assign a kind of role we like to assign to the user. So click here, and of course you can find a tons of different kind of different roles which has been built in or like created automatically by Microsoft. Obviously you can create your own custom roles. For that you need to obviously I am not going to talk about it right now, but yeah, just for your reference, yes, we can give permissions separately, or we can create a custom roles so that you can assign the permissions accordingly. However, at the moment, I'm going to just choose owner. As soon as you choose owner, so definitely this kind of assignment, like what kind of assignment you have, a specific service on which you would like to assign a permission, or on everything, because he's the owner and I want him to handle and maintain everything in the subscription. So assign every single permission. But if you are working in the company or in an organization, you can choose he can do what for you. So he can do certain actions based on the system assignment actually here. Now, when you click here, so obviously the user you need to assign. So what I can do, I can simply choose the right user from here. So our user is HarshArena, or you can say HarshArena admin, which is right here. So when you click, you can find out here in the selection or selected member. As soon as it is selected, just click save. As soon as you save, the user permission has been assigned to this subscription. And as you can see, it has been assigned and he is the owner of the subscription right now. Just to reconfirm what kind of permission it has, so I can do one thing. I can now choose HarshArena admin, and now you can see he has the owner, because previously we do not see any role has been assigned to the user, right? So I'm pretty sure you are pretty much clear that how to assign a permission or role-based access control. Now, to verify the access, we simply need to go to, not on the same browser, of course on the another browser, and try to log in now with the user. Because previously we were not able to log in, not able to log in the sense, not able to create the Microsoft virtual machines. Harsh, so many things today and so much we talk. So Harsh mind is almost confused. Just kidding guys, actually, just trying to talk many things, and I have another thing is also running in my mind to share with you. So that's why, as I said, I'm excited. So please bear, and of course I apologize if you just find these kind of mistakes. So sorry about that. Anyway, let's come back and let's talk about the virtual machine. So let's create the virtual machine, and this time you can see you can start creating a virtual machine. As soon as I click here, it will show me another kind of screen where I can choose the subscription, which is obviously by default we have the correct subscription, and I can start using creation of whatever the VM I like to create in the subscription. So guys, that's all about the RBAC, or the permissions on the subscription level. And today you learned a lot, and of course the new AZ-104 series, and of course you can expect upcoming videos a little bit longer, because we have tons of different things to cover. First we need to understand the concept, and later on we need to understand what exactly is going on. So obviously we'll do the practicals, and we will see exactly the results together. So yeah guys, I mean, that to be all, and I think let's wrap up this video for the day. I hope you find this video quite helpful and informative. Please guys, share this video if you like it, and of course keep subscribe and stay tuned with me, because more videos are coming all together. And of course, once we will cover a couple of videos here, I will try to start another another series on security as well, because I do have expertise on the security part too. And of course, I do also have a plan to talk about Azure monitoring, which I'm going to separately cover, except this. Obviously, we have a couple of videos coming into AZ-104 series as well. But yeah, we will talk separately in a little bit in advanced level too. And yeah, for now, I think that to be all. And we don't need to better talk more, because I think you might be bored and will say, hey Harsh, this video is too long. So all right, so guys, please take care of yourself, because it's a COVID-19 situation and we all need to take care of our health, our family health. Please take care, and I'll see you in the next video. Till then, stay tuned. Peace.